the Institute of Law, Nirma University. I, Shri, Head International Office, Institute of Law, warmly welcome all of you to the inaugural ceremony of the International Teaching Month 2021, a celebration of law, life, and diversity. Before I move forward with the inaugural ceremony, I would like to explain the session protocol to our audience, especially our students who have graced this occasion. I would request you to keep your mics on mute and please switch on your cameras so that we can have a good interaction throughout this ceremony. International Teaching Month is a flagship event hosted by the Institute every year, and it is a reflection of the commitment of the Institute to internationalization, which is a strategy that integrates an international and intercultural vision into the curriculum of law. Throughout internationalization, the Institute has created a platform for collaboration of judges, diplomats, academicians, bureaucrats, educationists, and practitioners from across the globe to engage with students and the larger academic community. I am honored to introduce our esteemed guests who have graced the online days today. We have with us our guest of honor, Shri Jigar Inamdar, Regional Director, Indian Council for Cultural Relations. I believe Sir is a little occupied and will be joining us shortly. We also have with us Professor Stephen Barnes, Assistant Dean for Graduate and International Programs, Penn State Law, and Global Professor, Institute of Law, Nirma University. We have with us Shri K.K. Patel, Vice President, Nirma University. We also have with us Professor Dr. Anup K. Singh, Director General, Nirma University, and Professor Dr. Purvi Pokhariyal, Director and Dean, Institute of Law, Nirma University. I express my gratitude and welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony. This ceremony cannot be started without receiving the blessings of the Almighty. Kindly fold your hands for the prayer to Goddess Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, music, art, speech, wisdom, and learning.
Ya kundendu tusharhara dhavala, ya shubhravastravruta, ya veena varadandamandita-kara, ya shweta padmasana, या ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता, सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा।
Professor Dr. Purvi Pokhariyal, presently Director and Dean, has been the founding faculty of the Institute of Law, Nirma University. She specializes in the area of criminal justice studies and justice education and has been a consultant and resource person on various aspects of legal studies for government and non-government organizations. I would now request Professor Pokhariyal to deliver the welcome address. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Shreya. Chief guest, dear Professor Stephen Barnes, Assistant Dean, Penn State Law and Honorary Global Professor, Nirma University. Respected Shri K.K. Patel, Sir, Vice President, Nirma University, esteemed Dr. Anup K. Singh, Director General, Nirma University, Shri Jigar Inamdar, who is going to join us very soon, who has been the consultant and regional director, Indian Council of Cultural Relations, my colleague, Professor Shreya Srivastava, who is also in charge of the international office at the Institute, dear faculty members, staff, and students. We welcome you all in this fourth edition of International Teaching Month. Friends, as we all know, this year theme for International Teaching Month is celebrating law, life, and diversity. Today, there is a fundamental need that people from diverse backgrounds come together and share their experiences and ideas. And this kind of a discourse shape the thought process of students and help them to identify the issues and concerns that the world is witnessing today. We all know that today international boundaries are becoming more porous in all aspects, ranging from economy and trade to education and research. And so, professional landscape of the future would require law students to have a global understanding on contemporary issues. And internationalization helps our students to thrive and lead change in an interconnected world. And internationalization makes students understand and engage with cultural diversity and to find solidarity and to reach the common goals. And this also motivates our students to address global challenges collaboratively and equitably. And so, our Honorable Vice President had a vision of accelerating internationalization at the core of our academic activity. I still remember, before 4 years, our Vice President had a suggestion that we need to have more dialogue and academic interactions with the other foreign universities. And as per his vision, we have been celebrating this International Teaching Month for the last 4 years. And eventually, Institute of Law has adopted internationalization in a way that integrate international and intercultural vision into law curriculum, pedagogy, and discourses. So internationalization is a pursuit of far-sighted vision of Nirma University. And it is also the reflection of our commitment to the cosmopolitan approach to knowledge and the culture. So there are four facets of our approach to internationalization. Firstly, curriculum. Institute has been offering the courses on global relevance, such as different legal systems of the world, including Chinese, European, and US legal system, courses like international taxation law, international trade law, international economic law, international humanitarian law, international business transaction, international criminal law, etc. In addition to this, it is also vital to have a comparative understanding of certain areas. And so comparative critical pedagogy is also at the central of our academic discourses, especially in the honors courses. And this kind of a courses includes comparative constitutional law, comparative criminal procedure code, comparative human rights law, comparative criminal law, etc. The second aspect of internationalization is adopting the best practices in terms of pedagogical innovations and assessment. The Institute has been putting into place an academic delivery model, including courses, pedagogy, and assessment, which is comparable with the best of the law schools of the world. Thirdly, for internationalization, intercultural understanding is vital. So Institute has been putting a great efforts in ensuring the students' participation in one of best of the international moot court competitions, international debating championships. And some of the moots are where our students have been participating is William C. Wiss, Jessup International, Stetson International, Commonwealth Moot Court Competition, Nelson Mandela Human Rights Competition. And when it comes to the debating championship thing, World University Debating Championship, Asian University Debating Championship, etc. Not only the students, but the faculty members are also provided with the financial and academic support for participation in international conferences, seminars, and events. And thus, we have a mechanism in place to take care of all the aspects of internationalization. At this juncture, many compliments to our dear Professor Stephen Barnes, who has been kindly accepted to be the Honorary Global Professor of Nirma University and has been leading this international month in an amazing way. Under his great leadership, the ILNU is hosting around 75 professors, diplomats, policymakers, attorneys, and academic administrators in this season. The special feature for this year International Teaching Month is some of the exceptional legal minds and the vice chancellors of prominent national law schools sharing the Indian perspectives on each of the themes of different panels discussions that we are going to hold during this month. And one of the feature of this International Teaching Month is also a symposium on educating future lawyers for just and sustainable society. So friends, there are panel discussions, talk shows, symposium, workshops, and all these things is possible. Like event like this is always require backing and encouragement from the academic leader. Dr. Anup Singh has been supporting immensely for this endeavor, and it is his gracious support due to which we could continue this event every year. We are indeed honored that we are going to be joined by Mr. Inamdar very soon, who has been actively promoting cultural relationship between India and other countries. And Mr. Inamdar has a great vision of cultural integration in higher education. And he is going to be there with us today. And we hope that we can take this initiative to the next higher level in coming years with his active support and cooperation. I once again welcome you all in this session and also looking forward to your participation in all the sessions of International Teaching Month. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful and encouraging words. I now take the opportunity to give a brief about the International Teaching Month 2021. Every year, the Institute celebrates the International Teaching Month in February. This year, due to the challenges presented by COVID-19, the International Teaching Month is being conducted virtually. The International Teaching Month aims to introduce the students to different areas of law. And keeping this in mind, sessions have been designed on varied subjects such as alternative dispute resolution, cyber law, global health law, comparative legal history, artificial intelligence, climate change regulation, defending of the indigent, labor and social security laws, principles of drafting of tax laws, law and religion, human trafficking, managing and negotiating complex business transactions, air and space law, and contempt of court and free speech. As addressed by Professor Pokhriyal, each session will also shed light on the Indian perspective. Special sessions on implicit bias and justice, civility and the law, education policy, foreign policy, and clinical legal education will introduce the audience to the nuances of law and policy making across the globe. In order to truly realize internationalization, several panel discussions have also been scheduled, where scholars are going to discuss the comparative perspectives of constitutional law, human rights, arbitration reforms, and securities law. The sessions will not only strengthen the academic knowledge of students, but will also expose them to a holistic professional development. Consequently, a panel discussion on leadership and entrepreneurship, especially in setting up international law firms, has also been scheduled. Comprehensive courses will also be offered to students on American legal system, European legal system, and litigation advocacy. Last but not the least, to make the month even more interesting, we also have a panel discussion on lessons learned in law school, reminiscings by recent law graduates and their takeaways from their law school journeys. I would like to conclude by saying that it is reassuring to witness this coming together in these unprecedented times, which has indeed proved the resilience of the legal community. This is truly a celebration of law, life, and diversity. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. We welcome one of our speakers. He's also joined with us, Professor Tom Valenti. We welcome you, Mr. Valenti. And we also have with us Dr. Mehul Nayak. He is the head of International Office, Nirma University. Welcome, Mehul Bhai.
The Institute has prepared a brochure of the International Teaching Month 2021. Right now, with so many guests here in this program, it is an opportune moment to share a glimpse of the brochure, and I would like to do the same. This was just a glimpse of the brochure, and I hope you all have the opportunity and the chance to go through the entire brochure. I now take the opportunity to invite our chief guest, Professor Stephen Barnes, Assistant Dean of Graduate and International Programs, Penn State Law, Pennsylvania University, USA, and who oversees LLM and SJD admissions. He is also Global Professor, Institute of Law, Nirma University. Before his appointment, Professor Barnes lived for 8 years in China, where he was a visiting law professor at the China University of Political Science and Law in Beijing, and also served as Penn State Law China Programs Director. Sir is proficient in French, Chinese, and Swedish, and is energized by the cultural diversity that talented international students bring to Penn State Law. We welcome you, sir. I request you to kindly address the gathering.
Namaste. Vice President Shri Patel, Director Anup Singh, my colleague, my friend, and my sister, Dr. Purvi Pokadial, Dr. Jigar Inamdar, and also to my friend, Dr. Shreya Srivastava. And most of all, to you, our students, our fellow learners, not only in this distinguished law school, but in universities and communities throughout India and throughout the world. Thank you for the great honor to join you today, this on the first day of Nirma University Institute of Law's first day of International Teaching Month. For many of you, I might be a familiar face, or maybe too familiar of a face, as I've not only visited, but I've resided at Nirma University several times over the past 6 years. And it's the reason why I call Ahmedabad my Indian hometown. This morning, although I am zooming from many time zones away, it feels like I just completed my run around the cricket field, which is just behind the beautiful law school building, behind the canteen, and imagine running around the cricket field and looking at the dogs on the back lawn under the plumeria and the bougainvillea, and they say to themselves, "What, he's back again?" So those are the visions that I have this morning as I share some thoughts with you. I've been invited today to share some thoughts about internationalization, or rather the value of an international education. And more specifically, to encourage you, students, fellow learners, to take advantage of all of these opportunities that have been made available to you at Nirma and throughout India. First, please permit me to acknowledge what a unique opportunity we all have here at Nirma University this month. I know that the organizers have invested a lot of time in putting this together, going back 6 months and even more. I am grateful. Penn State University is grateful to be part of this. Nirma University Institute of Law was founded almost 13 years ago, and Dr. Pokadial, the founding dean, has guided this law school from a handful of mostly Gujarati students to a law school that is not only represented by students throughout all the states of India, but now learners from all over the world. And this year's International Teaching Month emphasizes the connectivity of Nirma University, but also Ahmedabad and India, with partners around the world. More than 23 countries are represented. And I believe it's worth mentioning each nation, almost like an Olympic Games roll call. Brazil, Peru, Bangladesh, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Hungary, Germany, Italy, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Palestine, Poland, Sweden, Spain, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, Russia, Nepal, Canada, United States, Romania, the Republic of South Africa, and India. I hope you can imagine a parade of nations with flags walking past the Institute of Law and around the cricket field, almost like an Olympic ceremony, because that's what this is all about. Over the next month, the invitees, our honored guests, not only will share knowledge with you, but every single representative represents an institution with an invitation for the qualified student to study abroad. It could be a summer term, it could be a semester abroad, or a full-time degree in residence, or it might start out as an online remote learning course. Perhaps the invitation will not be obvious in a speech or in a panel, but each representative is a resource. I encourage you to develop that conversation or invitation by investing yourself in learning more about the speaker, the panelist, the teacher, the subject matter, the institution, and the country. And when you explore that invitation, implement your action steps. And when the invitation or opportunity is provided to you in an email or by post, whether it's to go to South Africa, the United States, Peru, Hungary, wherever, and when you present that invitation to your parents and they ask, why? You respond simply,
Excuse me, sir.
You are muted, I think. Yeah, please.
when I was 16 years old, seated in a high school classroom in the United States, an announcement was made about a one-year exchange student opportunity. I asked myself, why not? And for 1 year, I lived in a Swedish town with a Persson family. It changed the trajectory of my life. In the course of my law practice in my mid-40s, I received an invitation to take a sabbatical and to help develop a new curriculum and to teach law at the MIT of China in Harbin, China, in the Siberian North. I had no Chinese language experience or background. I asked myself, why not? It changed the direction of my career. I lived in China for almost 8 years, and I wouldn't be in Ahmedabad today, but for taking the chance of going to among the remotest of places, the Siberian plains of China. I've told you, I think many of you know, that I think that I have the world's greatest job, or at least it's that job in the world that's best suited for me. I really believe that, where I have the honor to work with talented students and faculty from more than 90 countries around the world. And I've traveled to almost half of them. One Swedish student came to Penn State Law and then became an adjunct professor at NIRMA, and then pursued his PhD in Edinburgh and founded a law firm in Stockholm. Ely is a why not personality. A Bosnian student came to Penn State, passed the New York bar, and now works in a major law firm, not in Sarajevo, not in New York, but in London. Muhammad is a why not kind of guy. A Palestinian student came to Penn State Law, and now Nawal is an assistant professor of law at Jindal. She's an extreme case of a why not personality. A Romanian, several Indians, a Bosnian, a Panamanian, a Moroccan, and a Ghanaian joined Penn State Law's Vismut team several years ago, competed against 376 other teams from 84 countries in Vienna, and emerged as world champions. They left their comfort zones at home to study abroad at Penn State because why not? They left their impact upon Penn State in many communities and countries and are now impacting their professional and social communities in their home countries. Now, please let me emphasize, this is not an advertisement. This is not a plug. This is not free promotion for my host institution, Penn State, not at all. These students could have gone to the Higher School of Economics in Moscow, Leeds, Oslo, Universidad de Piura, the National University of Mongolia. They could have gone anywhere. Seriously, they could have gone anywhere and achieved the same results. It's all about getting out and about in the world. It's all about leaving one's comfort zone. It's not about where you go, it's just going. And it all starts with curiosity, challenging convention, and when pressed for why, answering, well, why not? Opportunities come to the risk takers, the unconventional. So how do you prepare yourself as that internationalist? Please let me give you 5 tips of advice, starting from the most practical. Number 1, get a passport. Do you have an Indian passport? If not, get one. You just don't know when that opportunity will arise. Number 2, read the best literature from around the world. If a particular country interests you, take the deep dive in that country's fiction. Not just nonfiction, but fiction and the philosophical works. Nonfiction, like all history, comes from the author's or historian's perspective, and it's laden with bias. Just as my friend Judge Mel Flanagan will share with you in her bias section in a few days. Fiction takes you into homes, natural landscapes, and working spaces and permits you to observe how the characters respond. More importantly, I suggest, is that you learn how the author tells the story. How the author tells the story is sometimes more meaningful or relevant than even the characters themselves. How could a visitor or an international student in residence in India possibly know anything about India without first reading the Gita or reading some selections from Tagore? How could an Indian student in Russia possibly know anything about Russia without first reading Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, or Turgenev, among others? Before you study in the United States, or if you want to have a better understanding of American law, you'd better read John Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath. I know my own country better now from having reread The Grapes of Wrath over this past summer. 2 weekends ago on a hike in a nearby forest, one of my Norwegian students told me, "Hey, Steve, if you want to really know Norway, you must read Knut Hamsun's Growth of the Soil." I've almost finished it. And you know what? He's right. I've been to Norway several times, but I understand Norway now just a little bit better from reading this novel. So read, read, and read. And I suggest spend more times in novels and drama and poetry than nonfiction. You'll have plenty of time when you're abroad to read those legal texts and treatises just like you do now. But the best way to prepare is to read the best literature from that country or that region. Number 3, save money. Another practical advice. Top students with eclectic backgrounds receive top tuition scholarship offers. But here's some good news for you. All students will qualify for some type of scholarship somewhere in the world. That's reality. That's the marketplace of ideas. That's the marketplace of education. But you need to start saving money now to supplement your living expenses in the future. Number 4, learn a language. You and I have the benefit that English has become a universal transactional language. It makes life easier for us, doesn't it? And therein is the peril. English is transactional. You cannot possibly begin to understand a land's culture or legal system if you limit yourself to your native language and to English. If you are in Croatia for a semester, you have to learn Croatian. If Sweden, Swedish. Even if the classes are in English, you'll learn more by learning up the language. You'll learn more about the country and the legal system with a non-English speaker in the street in that home country than you will in the classroom. Number 5, include your professors and your family in your planning. Your professors want you to succeed. They want to maximize your potential. Your success is their success. Share your international aspirations with them. They have contacts and networks, and they will write those all-important letters of reference for you. Your family, your parents, it's a family effort and not just financial. Your parents will live the experience with you. Sometime last year, I was chatting with some of my Indian students in the corridors of my law building just outside my office. And out of curiosity, I asked them, "How often do you talk to your parents?" "Every day," they told me. And I said, "Really? How long?" "Oh, usually only about 1 hour or 90 minutes. That gave me a glimpse into the Indian family and the Indian model. Because, okay, with one notable exception, I have a hard time chatting FaceTime or Zoom or Skype or whatever with anyone for longer than 15 minutes. But you get my drift. The independent study abroad experience necessarily includes family. Make each family a member, a part of your experience to the extent you can, but without surrendering your independence. Include your family in your planning and let them live the experience with you. So starting today, become an internationalist. I just humbly offered 5 straightforward steps. Number 1, get a passport. Number 2, read the best literature from around the world. Number 3, save money. Number 4, learn a language. And 5, include your professors and your family in your planning. A few minutes ago, I think I told you that I thought I had the best job in the world, or at least have the job that's best suited for me. But I need to be straight up with you. I need to be honest with you. I didn't have a perfect plan. It came to me later by 2 or 3 decades of why not choices. I didn't necessarily aim for this job, but I like to think that I found it by the why not choices I've made over time. And I'm very fulfilled, and I'm a happier person for it. But there's a broader picture here with All Things International. And this is something that's become reinforced to me in recent years. I'm going to share with you something that's not terribly academic, but something that is important and that is intuitive to me. At least to me it is. And it is this: an internationalist helps the world get along just a little bit better. And I think that's a very good thing. I think that's the most important thing. From experience and observation, I've learned that 5 things bring the world together. Number 1, food. Number 2, sports. Number 3, art. Number 4, music. And number 5, education. 2 things, sadly enough, divide the world despite sometimes best intentions. And they are politics and religion. You, the university student, bring together all of the 5 convening elements with an emphasis on education. When you study abroad, you're not just a student. You are an ambassador. Do you realize that a student, for example, an Indian student in Santiago, Chile, is a more effective diplomat than the Indian ambassador in the Indian embassy? If you are in Beijing on a study abroad, you will have more impact in the Chinese community than the Indian ambassador in the embassy. And I know this to be true from my own experience during my residency in China. My US and my foreign diplomat friends, they envied the access and impact that I had just by being a normal person without an agenda, but with a big portfolio of goodwill. The world needs the student diplomatic corps now more than ever. You will bring the world together, make the world just a little bit better. You will have an impact just by going out and being there, by answering the call. Why not? In conclusion, and as I did in the convocation exercises in October, and I beg Dr. Purvi's and Dr. Singh's forbearance for repeating this, but I want to share a poem which I think best defines the international opportunities awaiting you. It is a poem by the American poet Robert Frost, and it's entitled The Road Not Taken. And it goes like this: 2 roads diverged in yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and I looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair and perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. 2 roads, diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. My fellow learners, students, you are on the main road, and there's a road less traveled just waiting for you. Don't ask why you should take it. Just ask, why not? And go. Thank you very much for the great opportunity to share this morning and this afternoon with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. I'm positive they will inspire our students and all our audience members to take that chance and invent and reinvent their careers. Our guest of honor for today's function is Shri Jigar Inamdar. Sir is presently Consultant cum Regional Director, Indian Council for Cultural Relations, Ministry of External Affairs, India. Sir has completed his legal education and also has a doctoral degree in public administration. Sir has been advisor and former honorary executive director for the Institute of Leadership and Governance, the MS University of Vadodara. Sir is also Senate and Syndicate member of the MS University. Sir has been awarded the internationally acclaimed ASEAN India Youth Award. He is also revived the Gujarat State Youth Board, Government of Gujarat. This initiative aims to create parallel support structures through Swami Vivekanand Yuva Kendra at every village and all wards of every Nagarpalika to take all the government schemes to the last person of the society. Unfortunately, Sir is a little occupied with some work and has informed that as soon as he gets free, he will be joining us for this session. I would now like to move on and introduce the audience to Professor Dr. Anup K. Singh, Director General, Nirma University. Sir is an eminent academician and thought leader. Under his leadership, since 2013, Nirma University has moved from strength to strength. He did his PhD from the University of Allahabad and postdoctoral fellowship from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. He was a visiting scholar at the J.L. Kellogg Graduate School of Business Administration, Northwestern University, Evanston. He was professor of organizational behavior at Management Development Institute, Gurugram, and professor and dean at International Management Institute, New Delhi. He was also director, Jaipuria Institute of Management, Noida. Earlier, he was director, Nirma Institute of Management. He has many publications to his credit, comprising books, research papers in international and national journals, case studies, book chapters, in addition to paper presentations at national and international levels. He is also a recipient of various awards for teaching excellence. I request Professor Dr. Anup K. Singh to address the audience. Please, sir.
Thank you, Shreya, Professor Barnes, Shri K.K. Patel, Professor Pokhriyal, Professor Valeti, faculty colleagues, and dear students. All of us are unique. There is no other person who is like us, but at the same time, we share a lot of characteristics with people around us. For example, if I'm Gujarati, then I share a lot of characteristics with other Gujaratis. If I'm an Indian, I share a lot of characteristics with Indians. But the third truth is that we are like each other. You know, we are global, we are international, whether we are Indian, we are Russian, we are American, we are Chinese. But there are certain human characteristics which we share with each one of us, with all of us. And that's where this International Teaching Month becomes very important. This month brings a new opportunity for our students to have interaction with people from different nations, from different cultures, and from different backgrounds. Now, we have to see that justice and law are not constant, right? They differ from society to society, and they differ from one historical stage of development to another. And this is where, international comparison of law and justice becomes very intriguing, that we find that for the same thing, we have different laws in different societies, and the conception and implementation of justice differs from society to society. And then we decide that what we can learn from other cultures and how we can contribute to implementation of law and justice in our own society. I'd like to share with my dear students that you need to keep three things in mind when you are in this International Teaching Week. One is that learn how other cultures, how other nations are different, but also what is common, right? Because there would always be diversity, but any diversity also brings it unity. So while diversity is important, unity is also important. The second thing is ask questions, right? Generally, our law students are much more inquisitive, much more argumentative, like a typical Indian. So you must ask questions. Only then you would know what is deep in the insights that the professor is sharing with you. And thirdly, it is very important that you take notes, don't listen. Because when you listen, you forget it so fast that if you have listened to something just 1 hour ago, nothing would remain with you. So along with your focus on a screen, keep your notepad and pen beside you and jot down and make maximum use of the insights, experiences, and perspectives that are coming to you. And I'm sure that this would be not only a unique experience for you, it would also be a fun experience for you, right? And if possible, let us also find, students from the institutions which are participating. And it would be a great thing if our students can interact with the students from other institutions. And that's how we would not only learn about law, we would also promote internationalism. So once again, I congratulate Institute of Law for organizing this wonderful event. And I wish all of you wonderful learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful message. I'm sure it will encourage our students to gain knowledge and varied perspectives from all the speakers who will grace this International Teaching Month and truly promote the spirit of internationalism. I would now like to introduce Shri K.K. Patel, Vice President, Nirma University. Sir did his BS in Chemical Engineering from Tennessee Technological University, USA. Sir began his corporate career as the Managing Director of Mascot India Instruments Private Limited, a company manufacturing control valves under the US technical collaboration at Naroda, Ahmedabad. And Sir served the organization for 16 years. Sir is also the director of the Kalapur Commercial Cooperative Bank Limited, a scheduled bank having several branches. Sir is the president of the Guzaria Kilwani Mandal in Mehsana district, which is an educational public charitable trust managing educational activities from KG level to the college level. And Sir is also the trustee of the Guzaria Sarvajanik Hospital, having 120 beds with all modern facility. Thank you, sir, for gracing the occasion. I now request you to kindly deliver the presidential address.
Namaste everyone. Do I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Namaste everyone. Respected dignitaries and my colleague, professors, and my dear students. We are really happy to have this International Teaching Month. It's a huge opportunity for everyone that we are covering the whole world, more or less, you can say. So our students will have the greatest golden opportunity. Globalization requires sharing of wealth and knowledge amongst the different nations and cultures. I am of the firm belief that the success of any university depends on its ability to forge strategic alliance with global international partners. This will help our students in fostering human development through understanding and respect across the nation. Further, it will help in expanding the sustaining avenues for economic competition. This will ultimately help in promoting academic entrepreneurship among the students. We promote our students to take up the job, jurisdictional practices around the globe. We focus on global outlook of our students, nurturing them with knowledge and value which derive authority globally and are relevant locally. We aim for an overall global exposure of our students, focusing their reach to different parts of the world. I am happy to share that this time, even we are scheduling the International Teaching Month virtually. We have more than 80 speakers from India and abroad. I hope that we continue and strengthen this activity further in future to come. Thanking you all and God bless. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Your address will encourage the students to truly appreciate the importance of internationalization and make benefit of the International Teaching Month. Thank you once again. I am not sure if Mr. Jigar Inamdar has been able to join us till now or not.
He just dropped in message, Shreya. Probably, he said, I'll join in 5 minutes, but he is not able to make it. So, but he has conveyed the best wishes for the program.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So we will now proceed with the vote of thanks. The International Teaching Month is a student-centric program and resonates with the vision of the university, shaping a better future for mankind by developing effective and socially responsible individuals and organizations. At the conclusion of the inaugural ceremony, I now request Mr. Tushar Chaudhary, President, Nirma University Institute of Law Students Activities Association, to propose the vote of thanks. Tushar, if you could please take the dais.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very warm good evening to one and all. So it takes me immense pride and honor to present the vote of thanks today to all the respected dignitaries present here, all the respected foreign faculties, the Indian faculties, and my dear friends. Respected Professor Dr. Jigar Inamdar, sir, the guest of honor today, Regional Director, Indian Council of Cultural Relations. The chief guest for the day, Professor Stephen Barnes, Assistant Dean for Graduate International Program, Penn State Law, and Global Professor, Institute of Law, Nirma University. Respected Shri K.K. Patel, sir, Vice President, Nirma University. Respected Dr. Anup K. Singh, sir, Director General, Nirma University. Respected Professor Dr. Purvi Pokhriyal, ma'am, Director and Dean, Institute of Law, Nirma University, and all the faculties. It takes me immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks today, as we all know that an event like this, such immense event, being organized on such a large scale, takes a lot of preparation beforehand. Therefore, it has been a long journey for all of us, and I hope that we carry it forward and make it a grand success in this month of February. Also, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor Shri Srivastav ma'am, Head Internationalization Week, ILNU, for being the torchbearer throughout this whole session and being a guide to us throughout this whole process of preparing for this international month. Also, there has been a lot of student volunteers involved in this whole session who have worked relentlessly, endlessly, and tirelessly to make this session a grand success. So, a great thanks to all of them as well. Also, all the faculties of ILNU who have been involved in this, faculties, international faculties, who have contributed in each and every manner to make this inaugural ceremony a grand success. And also, uh, I would like to thank all the dear students and my dear friends from the Institute of Nirma University who will be participating in all these sessions throughout the month of February. And being a friend, being the student president for the Nirma Institute of Law Student Activities Association, I request my all friends to take this internationalization month very seriously. And it is an opportunity for all the students and to make the better out of us. It has been a great and grand task that has been taken by the institute for all of us. Therefore, I request all my friends to bring out the essence of our tagline of this event, that is, let noble thought come to us from all directions. Therefore, I request all of you to take keen interest in all the activities being organized for all of you all. I again thank all of you all very much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Tushar. With the permission of the dignitaries on the online dais, we may now conclude the program. I thank you all for attending the inaugural ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Professor Stephen Barnes. Thank you, Singh sir. Thank you, Patel sir. Thank you so much.